Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Texas Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. My name is Catherine, and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Texas. We are currently in session A2, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentation. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and kick it off to our very first representative from the University of Rochester.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here in just a quick moment. Well, welcome from the University of Rochester. My name is Dana Martin. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions, and I primarily work with our students from Texas. In fact, we love Texas so much in Rochester that I actually live in Austin, Texas, and work with all of our students specifically. To give you a little bit of information about the University of Rochester, we are located in Rochester, New York, which is actually the fourth largest city in the state. We are actually closer to the Canadian border, though, than we are to New York City. We are in the upstate region of New York in the Finger Lakes region. The city of Rochester has about 1 million people in it, so it's a good sized city, not small by any means. We have actually 3 semi-professional sports teams, as well as Niagara Falls is pretty much in our backyard, just an hour and a half away. Now, to get to Rochester, not too difficult. You can catch a flight from any of the major airports here in Texas and be able to just kind of take one connecting flight. And then the Rochester airport is only a 5-minute car ride from our campus. Here's a little bit better view of what the campus actually looks like. This is the River campus where our 5,500 undergraduate students live and go to class, and our athletic facilities are. Everything that you possibly need is right there on that campus. And it only takes about 15 minutes to walk from one end to the other as well. Under the umbrella of the University of Rochester is also our medical center, which houses our medical school, dental school, as well as the region's trauma hospital and a children's hospital. So if you're looking into anything in the pre-med field, Rochester is a great place to do that, as well as in downtown Rochester is our third campus, which is the Eastman School of Music. Now, just 3 quick things to know about the University of Rochester. First off is that you get to build your own curriculum at Rochester. Yes, you're going to have a major while you're with us. We have over 100 different majors to choose from, everything from American Sign Language to psychology to neuroscience to having the #1 optics program in the country, optics meaning working with lasers, to having 7 different types of engineering programs. But essentially, you get to choose what that is. And then you get to kind of cluster in a lot of other areas at Rochester. So you get to cluster in the humanities or the social sciences or the natural sciences, and you get to choose what the rest of your general education requirements kind of look like for you. So if you are really passionate about sustainability, if you are passionate about social justice issues, or maybe politics, we can actually match you up with some classes that specifically meet all our requirements to actually have you graduate. There's only one required class you ever have to take at Rochester, and that's that #1 there on this screen. But very unique curriculum, very different from a lot of other institutions. The second thing to know about the University of Rochester is that we are a research institution. We are a tier 1 level Carnegie designated research institution. There's only 120 schools out of the 3,500 plus in the United States that have that designation. 3/4 of our students will actually do research before they graduate from the University of Rochester. Our latest development that came out of our med center was actually, we were the final testing site for the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. We are very proud of that. But our students are researching in all areas of campus. So they could be on our theater stages. It could be doing data analysis for some of our psychology professors. Basically, research to us is getting new knowledge out into the field. The third thing to know about the University of Rochester is just to know a little bit more about our students. As I mentioned, 5,500 undergraduate students. 20% of our students actually come to us from international locations. So we have students from all over the globe, as well as all over the United States. You will not be the only Texans as well coming to Rochester each year. We have between 30 to 40 Texas students that join us. So you're going to have 100 friends that you can always invite out to barbecue when you are in the city as well. There are about 300 different student clubs, organizations, everything from honor societies, just about every major, to religious organizations. About 20% of our students choose to go Greek. And we also have Division III sports in our campus as well. You live on campus for your first 2 years just to make that smooth transition to really being a Rochester student as well. Now, we do use a holistic admissions process at the University of Rochester, so you are not just your transcript or a test score to us. In fact, we are completely test optional and have been since 2018. We're going to do a holistic review on your admissions application. We really do recommend, if you are a senior and highly interested in Rochester, I would recommend that you sign up for one of our admission interviews, and I will go ahead and put that link in the chat here as soon as I finish. So if you are applying to Rochester, sign up to come and just have a quick Zoom conversation for about 20-25 minutes with us, just to kind of add another layer onto your application. The other thing to know about the admissions application and process at Rochester is it's also your scholarship process. About half of our students will receive some type of merit scholarship, but more importantly than that, we meet 100% of a family's demonstrated financial need. We never want costs to come be the final factor when you're making that decision to come to Rochester or not. We try to cover as much as we can through institutional grants and money from our side of the table as well. Here's some of our deadlines that are coming up. I know everybody's looming about the November 1st deadline that's coming up for our early decision students, but we are accepting applications all the way until January 5th with our regular decision pool. We do also have a few combined degree programs. If you are looking to go into any of these specific majors, we actually have some programs that will earn you a master's or sometimes even a doctorate degree in a condensed amount of time through the University of Rochester. I would highly recommend checking out our website for that. So with that, that's just a little preview of the University of Rochester. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from Skidmore College.
Hey everyone, my name is Xavier McKenzie. I'm one of the associate directors as well as the coordinator for diversity initiatives at Skidmore College. Skidmore is a small private liberal arts institution in Saratoga Springs, New York. We're only about 30 minutes away from the Albany International Airport, where most of our students who are flying in will come from. We have about 2,600 students, so not too big, not too small, small enough that if you find a great group of friends, it's hard to connect with them on the daily, but large enough that if when you eventually get tired of them, there are hundreds of new students you can reintroduce yourself to. We have an 8-to-1 student faculty ratio, so the average class size is about 15 to 16 students, which means you're never fighting for the attention of your professors. And the faculty members work as second parents, best friends. They're there for academic support, but also social and emotional support. So if you've ever seen Boy Meets World, everyone gets their own personal Feeney experience. If you've ever seen Mean Girls, I like to describe the professors as the Gretchen Wieners to the students Regina Georges. Simply put, if both those references go over your head, just know that that friend that you have now that blows up your phone with text messages, calls, finding strange notes in your locker or book bag, or you're getting aggressively private messaged on Zoom, that's pretty much how professors operate. So it's not rare to see a professor out to lunch with students. In fact, faculty members are notorious for inviting entire classes to their homes where they'll have group discussions and most notably a free meal. And I don't know about anybody here, but usually when it comes to free food, I'm not asking any questions. You don't got to tell me twice. I'm just there. So if you have that same habit, I think it's going to be a great environment for you. We're a liberal arts college, so you have a variety in terms of what you want to major or minor in. Our students find that they are really explorative. They are really interested in being creative. You'll find out very quickly that Skidmore does not agree with your comfort zone, so we'll try to push you out of that as much as possible. You'll probably hate and resent us the first year, but the next 3 are just dedicated to, making sure that you grow and are really passionate about what you are working on. So we definitely help our students achieve that goal. Over 60% of our students double major as well as double minor. So you definitely have the opportunity to explore more than one interest. And over 60% of our students also study abroad. We have about 120 plus programs spread across 6 of the 7 continents. If you are interested in going to Antarctica at any point in your life, no need. You could just spend a winter in Saratoga Springs. It'll effectively be the same thing. Financial aid carries over, so the only thing that you have to worry about is personal spending money. So the only thing that you'll have to worry about is, if you want to bring a personal souvenir back home, that comes from you. research opportunities as early as the first year, as well as internship and employment opportunities as early as your first year. So a lot to take advantage of. Saratoga Springs, where we're located, it's a really great balance between outdoor life and city life. So if you never want to see another soul again, we can make that happen. We're directly connected to the North Woods, which is about 150 acres of explorable land. You can hike, you can run the trails. In the winter, you can pick up skiing. I think it's important to note that we've lost no students to the North Woods. Just gonna knock on wood. So you don't have to worry about what happens during a full moon. However, we do have a lot of ghosts that haunt a fair amount of our students, but that's not important. To the right of the campus is the downtown area of Saratoga Springs. I describe it as New York City's Times Square minus angry people and skyscrapers. But if you are not familiar, just know that you have a fully functioning tourist city, including restaurants, coffee shops, movie theaters, bowling alleys, outdoor concert halls, state parks, all equipped with a Walmart and a Target, all available within 7 minutes of the campus. So our students definitely take advantage of the city. There's a lot to explore, but there's a nice delicate balance between being a student, being in the outdoors, or being in the downtown area. Our community. So Skidmore does not have any Greek life. We are entirely connected through shared clubs and organizations. We have about 120 and counting. So if there's something that you are really passionate about that you are hiding from friends or family for fear of shame or embarrassment, it's usually already a club here at Skidmore. Give you an example, we have a Harry Potter club known as the Squizzards. We're also one of those schools with a Quidditch team. You won't be able to fly, but if you want to run around with a broomstick and hit people, it is very cathartic. Skidmore has about 2,600 students and about 3,000 events annually. So there's always something happening on campus. That also includes our Division III sports and athletics teams. So there's always something to do. You're balancing anywhere between 8 to 14 different events during the weekend. Skidmore is one of the few places I know where students can dress anywhere between the 60s to the present day with no judgment, where campus squirrels have their own Instagram accounts and profiles, where a lot of students, faculty, and staff get a lot of their information about what's happening on campus from a student-run anonymous meme page. So that's just a little intro on Skidmore. My name is Xavier McKenzie. If you're interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you. Just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those questions inside the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions at all, our representatives are here to assist. The next representative is from Pace University.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Brittany, and I am one of the admission counselors for Pace University. I do cover Texas, so I am the person that you will see when you have Zoom meetings, or hopefully one day back in person, as well as read your applications. So Pace University is a private liberal arts college in the southernmost part of New York. We have 2 campuses that are completely up to the student experience. So whether you want something that's the hustle and bustle skyscraper life of the city, or if you're like me and the city is a little too claustrophobic and you like going down for shows or shopping, but you like the green space and suburban feel, our Rochester campus is going to be for you. And the best part is it's only 45 minutes apart and north of the city. We are so focused on our students and obsessed with you that we pretty much make our educational model all about you, the student. We call it our PACE path, and it pretty much combines your interests, your hobbies, your overall major to create a path that essentially gets you from your first year of college all the way through to that graduation checkpoint and on to your successful careers. You can be involved as much or as little as you'd like. It's completely up to you and what you are trying to get out of your educational experience. We have over 150 majors, as well as 35 combined degrees, where you can get that professional degree as well as your undergraduate degree in the shortened time. We break down all of our majors into these 6 different colleges. You don't have to worry about going to any different boroughs, different buildings, different campuses. It's just how we break down the majors, the curriculums, and place you at graduation. So it involves a little bit of everything, as you'll see. 90% of our undergraduate students are fully employed, or they are continuing those education programs like with the combined degrees or pursuing master's degrees after graduation. We're very proud of this statistic, and we owe it all likely to our award-winning Career Services Center that is free for you as the student from when you're a student all the way through the rest of your life. So if you want to pivot after 5 years or less, you can always come back to our Career Services Center, and they'll help you find that new job industry and avenue that you're looking for. So as I mentioned, with the two campuses, one of them is in the city. It is at the foot of the Brooklyn Bridge in the financial district. So this is really the time to make the city your campus, your home, and your playground. And boy, do our students do that. If the urban feel isn't for you, again, 45 minutes north in the suburbs is our Rochester or Pleasantville campus, as we call it. It has nature trails, its own pond, athletic space, as well as our environment centers. So we definitely have something for every student and a little bit of both. You can also go back and forth. You can take classes at one, live at the other. It's completely your experience. Our application process is pretty standard. You'll see this across the board, likely at the other schools as well. It's an application with us or on Common App, your official high school transcripts that come from your high school or counselor. Letters of recommendation, please only 2. If you have maybe 3, that's fine, but no more than 5. An essay or personal statement. And lastly, we are a test optional school, so we don't require those test scores. If you think they're an accurate representation of who you are as a student, by all means submit them, but it doesn't hurt to do that. These are just some deadlines that are coming up. Again, everyone has their admission deadlines that apply to their university. That early decision is coming up November 1st. And then we also have early action 1 and 2 that are non-binding. And it's just 2 additional weeks for you to hit that deadline. There is no preference in terms of scholarship or anything like that. Just 2 additional weeks for you to get everything you need. If you are interested in any program-specific majors like performing arts or nursing, we do have hard deadlines for those, and those dates are on my slide. Otherwise, our regular decision student deadline is February 15th, and May 1st is that time to do your happy dance and commit to any university, no matter the university, if it's PACE or if it's any of my other colleagues on here or elsewhere. There we go. So being that we are a private liberal arts school, sometimes the price tag can scare people, but we don't have to worry about in-state, out-of-state tuition, nothing like that. We have one flat fee across the board, and then tuition that ranges depending on what campus you go to, but we can give students financial aid packages with both merit and financial need based, so long as we have all those, pretty much the FAFSA requirement and then your application. And our families usually save about $26,000 to $28,000 with our financial aid packages. So we really do try to make college as affordable as we possibly can. That is it for me, and this is our general contact information as well as my own. If you're interested in connecting with me at any point, I am pretty much virtual for recruitment this fall since I am New York, but basically I would love to connect with you at any point, so reach out to me at those emails below. Thank you very much.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. The next representative is from Hofstra University.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Christy Niemeyer. I am one of the assistant deans of admission at Hofstra. Your primary admission counselor is actually Chris Hoffman. I'll be sure to drop his information in the chat for you in case you have any questions. I'm helping him out this evening. He is a wonderful human being. So any questions you might have along the way, you can always reach out, but you can always reach out to me as well for any questions you have. So here at Hofstra, we are located in New York State. More specifically, we are on Long Island. So we are right in the heart of the suburbs of Nassau County. So not too far from whatever you might need: the mall, the beach, the park, Target, Stop and Shop, all within about 10 to 15 minutes of campus. So many things to do on our campus. And of course, if you are looking for that typical college life experience, you will absolutely get that at Hofstra. You can see on the bottom left picture, that is actually one of our quads on campus. Pretty much a typical day. Students are always outside, either having class outside, lunch, doing homework out there. But we are also very close to New York City. So we love to say that you get the best of both worlds at our campus. We are only about 25 miles from New York City, which is about a 45-minute train ride, the most convenient way to get to and from our campus into the city. And we actually have a shuttle system that can take you back and forth. But most of our students like to go there on the weekends, go sightseeing. We also have trips into the city that are completely sponsored by the university, completely paid for, which is awesome. And then we have a lot of internship opportunities there as well. So we are considered a mid-sized school. We're about 6,120 students for undergraduate population. Love our size of our campus because you still get that typical big college campus feel when you set foot on campus. It's a little over 240 acres, so plenty of space, but you still have that smaller, tight-knit community. We also do have small class sizes. So your average class size is 21 and student to faculty ratio 13:1. So you have a lot of personal connection in the classroom. Your professor will know who you are, make sure that you are succeeding in their class with any questions that you might have, and having a lot of peer discussions in your class as well. We offer about 165 program options. So anything you could think of, we probably have it. You'll see on our screen here a lot to choose from. A lot of our students do opt to double major or add a minor alongside of their major and go across different disciplines. So it is totally up to you, very flexible options. We have a lot of dual degree programs as well if you're looking to go for bachelor's and master's combined, but definitely take a look at our website for more detail about all of our different programs that we do offer. So being a Hofstra student, really big part of that is being involved on campus. So we have over 220 clubs you can join, anything you could think of between fraternities and sororities, academic organizations, community service groups, a cappella groups, dance groups. If we don't have it, you are also welcome to create your own club. So a lot of different opportunities. I always tell students, get involved as much as you can in college. It really gives you the best experience possible. Our students also spend a lot of time giving back to the community. So about 100,000 hours are spent by our students giving back in the local area. We also host events on our campus, including Relay for Life and St. Baldrick. So there's lots of opportunities for those volunteer experiences. We are also a Division I school for athletics. So we have 21 NCAA Division I sports teams, both men and women's, really big part of our spirit support going out and cheering on our student athletes. Our women's soccer team is actually 10th in the nation right now. They're doing awesome. We are super proud of them and can't wait to see how far they go this fall. We do guarantee 4 years of on-campus housing. So students that are planning to live on campus, about 82% of our first-year students actually live on campus. And we have 35 residence halls, so plenty of space for every student, which is why we can guarantee that housing. You're never in jeopardy of losing a spot on our campus. So internship opportunities between both New York City and Long Island, across any major that you are participating in at Hofstra, you can take part in internships. A lot of really great organizations that we work with, a lot of big name companies that you see on that list. And there's an endless amount of possibilities with organizations that you could work with. So definitely keep in contact with your Career Center advisor so they can help you along the way for that. So scholarship opportunities, of course, again, we are a private school on Long Island, but keep in mind there's a lot of different scholarships that we do offer for our students. About 97% of our students have some type of scholarship or grants or financial aid, sometimes all three combined. So there's a lot of opportunities and we really try and go out with our highest offer right off the bat in your decision letter for those merit scholarships. So be sure to submit as much as you can with your application so we could take a look at a little bit of everything, since we do review applicants holistically. So we'll take a look at each piece of your application to consider you for scholarships. So application deadlines, we run 3 deadlines: early action 1, 2, and then regular decision. So for early action, it is non-binding. If you are accepted, you are not committed to the university. You still have plenty of time to make your final decision. I highly encourage students make a campus visit in between that time. Definitely a really good idea to kind of get a feel for our community. We are a test optional school. So if you do not want to submit your test scores, you do not have to. But if you are very proud of your scores and you fall in or above those ranges that you see, definitely add them to your application, but you could always feel free to reach out if you're unsure and we can help you along the way. So things I recommend doing next, if you haven't taken a look at our virtual tour, absolutely do that on your own. Take a look at our whole community. Our visit opportunities, we are open for in-person tours, so feel free to make a trip to the campus. We do have some open houses. We have one coming up in November as well. And then when you are ready to apply, check out our website. We are on Common App as well as our own personal Hofstra application. And this is my contact information, but like I said, I'll also drop Chris's in the chat as well if you have any questions. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Wonderful, thank you. Before we hear from our last 2 representatives, just another friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. Any questions at all about the college application process, or even if you have a specific question for any of our representatives here, we encourage you to include the school name. The next representative is from Fordham University.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria. I am an admission counselor at Fordham University for first-year students. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our two campuses and our academic programs, student life, and also how to apply to Fordham as well. So Fordham is located in New York City, and we have two campuses, which you can see here on this kind of split screen. The two campuses are really different from each other, and I think that this kind of side-by-side image really does a great job of kind of showcasing that. Our Rose Hill campus in the Bronx is seen on the right. It's also my virtual background right now. This is Keating Hall. It's very much our kind of trademark building for our Rose Hill campus. And our Rose Hill campus is about 80 acres in the Bronx. It's about a 25-minute train ride away from Grand Central. So students have what many people think of as a very traditional college campus environment with these large green spaces, the Gothic architecture, but it's still really accessible to all of the busyness of Manhattan that students are really interested in accessing to supplement their campus experience. We're in the Belmont neighborhood of the Bronx. So again, it's about a 25-minute train ride away from Grand Central, and we're located right next to the New York Botanical Gardens, the Bronx Zoo, and Arthur Avenue, which is the Little Italy of the Bronx. Our Lincoln Center campus, by contrast, is seen here on the left. It is located in the middle of Manhattan. We're located at 60th and Columbus, so about a block away from Columbus Circle and Central Park, and walking distance from Times Square and Rockefeller Center, and what many people think of as very either tourist attractions or landmarks in sort of middle Manhattan. We take up 2 city blocks in Manhattan, so it's a really compact campus experience, and it is not at all removed from the busyness like our Rose Hill campus is. At each of our campuses, we have 2 colleges. We have Fordham College, which is home of all of our arts and science programs, and we have the Gabelli School of Business. The vast majority of majors are offered at both campuses. We guarantee 4 years of on-campus housing at both campuses as well. When students apply to Fordham, they do select a campus and a college, and they can select the campus based on the campus environment that they're seeking for their 4 years at Fordham. It's less again about where they can have their major or where they can have an on-campus residential experience. We have over 150 student clubs and organizations, so a lot of students are really involved in everything on campus, despite how much there is going on off campus as well. Students can take classes at both campuses as well, so you're not limited to just what your campus has to offer in terms of classes or events and programs. We don't have any Greek life at Fordham, so a lot of students find their communities through how they invest their time and how they get involved. In many ways, there is kind of the best of both worlds for students when it comes to our campus experiences that we provide, as well as all that there is to do in New York City. A little bit about our size. We have 9,000 undergraduate students, which really makes us a mid-sized university, but I always encourage students to consider what mid-sized means to them because it's very relative based on the other colleges that you're looking at. So if 9,000 is really big for you based on the size of your high school or the other colleges that you're looking at, there's a lot of ways that Fordham can feel so much smaller than that. So we have our 2 campuses. So about 6,000 students are based at our Rose Hill campus, and about 3,000 students are based at our Lincoln Center campus. Within that are our 2 colleges, and then obviously the 4 class years as well. So very quickly, students can kind of identify in much smaller groups of people than just being 1 in 9,000. And if 9,000 feels too small for you, again, based on the other colleges that you're looking at, or just kind of your personal preferences in your college search, Fordham's not in a small college town. So there's so much to do off campus if Fordham is ever feeling too claustrophobic or again, too small, you're not meeting enough new people. You have all of New York City to meet more people, to explore new things and neighborhoods and places. We also are a Catholic Jesuit university. So we are the Jesuit University of New York. We're one of 27 Jesuit colleges and universities throughout the country, and there's over 50 Jesuit high schools in the country as well. A little bit about our application process here. We are a Common App school, so that's the only way that we receive and review applications is through the Common App. We have a couple different deadlines coming up very quickly, which is November 1st. We have early action and early decision, and we also have a performance deadline at November 1st for our dance and theater students who audition as a part of their application process. And then we also have regular decision at January 1st. We are test optional for the seniors that would be applying as well as the juniors. There is no separate application process for any of our merit scholarships or our honors programs. And to be considered for need-based aid, families would need to submit the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. We are offering on-campus visits throughout this fall, while we also continue virtual programming. So if you find yourself in New York City, both of our campuses offer several tours and student panels throughout the day. So I hope you learned something new about Fordham and hope you get a chance to visit in person.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from Colgate University.
Great, thanks, Catherine. Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Millen. I'm an Associate Dean of Admission here at Colgate. I'm going to talk a little bit about I'm going to provide an overview of Colgate and talk about academics. And then one of our current students is joining us who will speak about communities and pursuits at Colgate. I'll talk about life after Colgate and admission and financial aid. But I want to give Rob, who's here, a moment to introduce himself. Rob, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rob Israel. I'm a current senior intern here in the Office of Admission at Colgate. On campus, I'm a geography major and a psychology minor. Aside from all that fun academic stuff, I'm also the president of our club tennis team in our entrepreneurship program called Thought into Action. And I also work for the athletic department as well.
We invite you to post any questions that you have about Colgate or for Rob in the Q&A. But just as a place to start, Colgate University is located in Hamilton, New York. We have about 3,000 students. We're a Division I institution and we're a small liberal arts school. We have 77 countries represented in the student body. Classes here are small and the opportunities, though, are very vast. So I think you really get the best of both worlds. You get to know your classmates and professors really well. And then we're able to offer some opportunities you might see at a bigger institution. Again, going back to that Division I caliber of experience that we have here, whether it's athletics, arts, or academics. In terms of academics, our 3 academic signatures would include the core curriculum. That's going to be at the heart of every student's liberal arts education here. Students have until the end of sophomore year to declare a major. You have 56 different majors that you can choose from. About 30% of our students will double major, many more pursue a major and a minor, so you don't have to choose just one thing to study. Students can take many different paths here. 83% of our students will leave with some sort of research experience. Research could happen collaboratively with a professor here, or it could be a project of your own design, and research happens in any major. Off-campus study, we're a national leader in terms of the number of students who study off-campus. So we offer semester-long programs as well as extended study programs. And financial aid, if a student receives financial aid, that's going to cover one semester-long experience as well as one extended study where you get to travel during the winter break and the summer break. We have 20 Colgate programs. We have 100 approved programs in 50 different countries. So I think students expect to come to Colgate to get a great education, whether it's here on campus or whether it's through an off-campus study opportunity. They get to know faculty really well. They're ambitious. They're super excited about what they're studying. And that's just one part of the college experience they want. They also want to be involved in the community here. So I'm going to let Rob talk a little bit about community and pursuits, what students do outside of the classroom.
Thank you, Erin. I think a couple of the important aspects to note about Colgate, one of them is that word community. We are in a village of about 4,000 people. And our campus is of roughly over 3,000 students. About 60% of our professors do live in the village of Hamilton. So it's extremely common to see them, whether it's at your favorite coffee shop, at the farmer's market, or just around town with their dogs, cats, other animals. With that as well, though, going to class at a professor's house, going to dinner at a professor's house is extremely common. It's almost weird if you don't end up at one of their homes or in a meal with a professor outside of the classroom experience. That's just truly what makes Colgate really unique. As far as clubs and sports go, we have about 220 clubs, with that number continuing to grow every day. One of my roommates just created a new club that's in the process of getting approved. He should be up and running within the next week. Club sports, intramural sports are very competitive on campus as well. They're open to everyone. We're in the middle of our IM football league right now, which we are able to play under the lights out on the field, hockey field. In addition to that, though, I think one of the things that really brings this community together is the student body in correlation with faculty and staff, whether it's in the office or outside in the village of Hamilton. Truly having that connection and having the support of whether it's your favorite professor, favorite chef in the dining hall, or favorite campus safety officer, everyone is truly here to support you in all your endeavors on this campus.
I think truly that is truly what the Colgate spirit is. And I think we see that spirit play out in so many different ways. Certainly when we're celebrating traditions like Colgate Day, which is every Friday the 13th. We were founded by 13 men with $13 and 13 prayers. So 13 is our lucky number. So again, we're really excited about Colgate Day. And again, I think you see that spirit playing out when we navigate challenges, whether that's as a community, as a country, as an individual. We're really there to express that care and concern for one another, and just so that we can truly be our best selves. And we want this place to be the best community as possible as well. I think college is also a really important time to explore who you are, express your identity. And I think there are many opportunities to do that through certainly academics, through the different clubs and organizations, the residential experience, but offices and resources like the Office for International Student Services, the Alana Cultural Center, the Office for LGBTQ+ Studies. Also, it's important that we take care of ourselves as well. And I think we were all thinking a lot about that this past year and continue to do that. So the Shaw Wellness Center is an amazing resource that students have. I see Catherine is back here on the screen, so I think we need to wrap things up. We really invite you to consider Colgate and apply. We have an early decision 1 deadline, which is coming up November 15th. Regular decision is January 15th. We have a very strong tradition of financial aid here and meet 100% of demonstrated need of students who've applied for aid and are accepted. So please email us if you have questions. Thanks.
Great, thank you. All great information shared from everyone. So again, we really appreciate everyone's time and being here. We do have some time left. So at this time, we're now going to pivot into our Q&A portion of this session. I invite all the representatives at this time to go ahead and turn on their cameras to get ready to unmute themselves. And our first question here is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented in.
Ooh, great question. So as much as you can, if you are a sophomore, junior, even a senior, COVID has really shut the world down. I know quite a lot. We can't travel or go as many places, but if you can get your foot on a college campus, I think it is so helpful to see it, to feel the vibe for yourself, to meet some current students. There's just something about seeing a large research institution, a small private liberal arts school. So as much as you can, even if you can't get to New York, where a lot of us are located at, why don't you just go look at your local schools too and say like, oh, you know what, I like the big school feel, or oh, no, I like this like little niche liberal arts school a little bit more. And you'll kind of get some of those characteristics that you might be looking for. So visit campuses either in New York, in Texas, or as much as you can do our virtual visit options as well.
I would definitely say if it's possible to get in contact with some students to get to learn about the campus. If they look like you or from a similar area or share some interests, I think it's just really important to hear their perspective and their output as to how they're doing and how that would relate to how you would do on campus. And I would do it unsupervised, just candid conversations with students. I think that, transparency is key to getting a real feel for where you want to be in the future. So I definitely would get in contact with students.
Yeah, I think definitely great points so far. I would also say just keep in mind, maybe looking at schools that have a couple things you're interested in, not just like one key thing, because a lot of us, I know myself, I went into college thinking I was going to be a physician's assistant and quickly learned molecular biology and chemistry. was not for me. So fortunately, I was able to pivot and pick a major within the college without leaving. But sometimes that can be a make or break if there's nothing else other than an initial thought. So just keep your options open.
I definitely agree with everything that has been said before me. My biggest piece of advice would be to keep your options open, and don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. There are so many schools that you can apply to and look into. So don't be afraid to just apply and see what it's like. Go visit the school and step foot on the campus and see what it's like, because there's a lot of opportunities out there, and college only comes once, hopefully, for everybody. So don't be afraid to, have a different experience.
I would say I know that a lot of these, a lot of college visits, but especially virtual college visits and conversations can really blend together. So, and a lot of colleges, even the 6 colleges here, we share a lot of the same kind of points of view in what we talk about, but we have really different student experiences. So, for each college that you're considering or that you apply to, try to think of a couple distinguishing factors about that school that really set it apart from the other schools you're considering, and that really make you see yourself there. And it can be different reasons for different schools on your list, but try to remember like a couple things about each school that really keep you motivated, kind of as this process continues and as you start to hear back on decisions, and then it's your turn to make some decisions on where you want to go. Just keep in mind kind of like the distinguishing factors that really set one school apart from the other, and why it's on your list in the first place.
I think one of the most important things to keep in mind when looking at schools is just truly keeping what you value and what you are looking for in a school in the front, whether you're on a college campus or in an interview or just scrolling through the website. Keep in mind your thoughts and values and what you're looking for to get out of the education, and you will eventually find your school that fits those needs.
Great, thank you. So much great advice. And so I think it's really helpful for those who are going through the college search process right now. I think we'll have time for one more, so we'll squeeze in one more question here before we wrap up. The next question is, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school? What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
Ooh, and I didn't even mention this, so I'm going to mention one more thing. So we actually have a Take 5 program at the University of Rochester where you can attend for a 5th year, totally tuition free, and study something completely outside of what your bachelor's degree is for the last 4 years. So it truly is learning for the love of learning. We're big believers in that as well.
There are 60 horses near campus.
We are so obsessed with students that we've made our whole educational model about it. So if you're in a place that is truly all about you, there is no pace or no place like pace, excuse me.
I would say definitely don't write off Long Island when you're thinking of your schools. Hofstra being on Long Island, you might not think of it within the larger New York State, and you might always think of the bigger schools. So definitely keep Long Island in mind, because it's a great place to be on our campus.
Fordham has our 2 campuses in the Bronx and in Manhattan, and it's just the best of both worlds for students with 2 campus options and all that the city has to offer. And you do choose a campus when you apply. We don't place students at a campus.
Most important thing is probably the Colgate community, just keeping in mind that you're in a collaborative learning environment with faculty, staff, professors, and the village members of our village of Hamilton.
Great, thank you. And it's great to also hear from a current student as well. So thank you all for being here. We really appreciate your time. That was truly rapid fire. So thank you again to our representatives. And thank you to each of you for joining us. We have now reached the conclusion of this session. Thank you. As we close, will be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is extremely helpful. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at StriveScan colgate.com/Texas. Again, thank you all and have a great night.